I am with the great, the legendary Coach K. No, not the Duke Coach K. The real Coach K. 100 Central's legendary Coach Kolody. I appreciate you taking some time. Before we get into talking about this great supplement that I want to discuss, I want to give you your kudos. My son, as you know, has gone on to have a very successful high school career, one of the top high school careers, I would say, in the history of not only Huntington Central, but maybe even in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. A lot of people can take some credit for his development over the years, including back to his Bayonne days. My brother included, Coach Nick, the two Nicks, Coach Mike, all the guys that coached him along the ranks. But I will tell you this, and he'll tell you this, I think the most influential person to get him to the level that he got, he'll credit that to you. And I appreciate that. When I came to Flemington, I knew nothing about you. I knew about Huntington Central. Of course, I knew Diamond Nation. I knew the baseball program was always solid here. I knew nothing about you. So when my son would come home and start talking about you, I'm like, wow, impressive. And listen, I was a football guy in high school. I actually won the Ironman Award, if you could believe that. I was the guy, you would have been proud of me. I was not very strong, but I was in the gym every day. I was that guy. I was the captain of my team. I was the dedicated dude. So when he started telling me about you, I got a smile on my face. And then you took a 170-pound, very skinny lefty. And by the time, as a freshman, by the time he was a senior, he was pushing 220, solid as they come. And he was getting, big-time looks because of his body development. I remember scouts would say, wow. They would say, we always knew he had good stuff on the mound, but now he's got the body. So I give you a lot of credit. And I know you've been at this for a long time. I know your background. You played some baseball. You're still athletic. You're still involved heavily in your own personal development in athletics. But I give you so much kudos for what you do. And I have to tell you, it's a hands down, you're the most influential guy in Huntington Central sports history, in my opinion, because all these athletes, they go on to not only take the next step in athletics, but the lessons that you teach them in life. So I tip my cap to you. I don't have one on. I should have worn my Central cap, right? But I tip it to you. And I want to give you the due that you deserve. You're a tremendous inspirator and a mentor to these kids. So there's that, my friend.
Thank you so much. Your son put his time in the weight room, and we have the 3 pillars up there: commitment, consistency, and discipline. And I can say, since I've been at the school since 2011, for the baseball team and some other teams as well, that's been their cry. That's been their cry. They show up. They have to have their shirts tucked in. That's been something that's been around since I've been there, and they put the work in. And you talked about 170 to 220, but the biggest thing about Joey I saw was durability. He did all of that work, but he was always there. He was always available. Durability and availability. Especially in baseball. When I was working with the Patriots in minor league baseball, that's what we needed. I mean, we didn't have a minor league system. We were an independent team, so we had to deal with who we had, and we had to make sure that our guys were durable. So the exercise routines and the stuff we put them through every day had to make sure they were getting better, so they can play more and play better. And then, availability. If Sparky or one of the coaches needed somebody that night, it was tough for our guys to say, "No, I can't get in there." So, that was something I learned a long time ago, how to develop our athletes so that they could be more durable and available. And that you can ask any boss, you can ask anybody. That's a life lesson. That you got to be available at work. And what's happened over the last year has really crushed some businesses because of that. And that's something where, as adults, we don't realize, as we were younger, if we learn those traits to become more durable and available, how much that could, pay off dividends in the long run as adults. And that's what we're talking about today is, as we're celebrating your birthday, 54 turns, around the sun. I'm sorry to say that, but I had to, because you're older than me now.
Yeah.
But to be available for your family, durability to go out and go on vacation and do hikes, and just be able to do that stuff with your family is precious, and that's all we have left is time, really. Anytime you give up is time wasted. So let's just make sure that we can take advantage of what we have.
Such great lessons. I learned from one of my mentors. I don't know who it was. Could have been a business mentor or an athletic mentor. Of all the abilities you can possess, he said the two of them are most important: availability and coachability.
Yeah.
Right. And two things that if you got both of those, you have a shot. And of course, you have to have the right coach, and that's where you come in. And you've been a great inspiration for all these kids. And I want you to talk briefly. I know you're humble, but I want you to talk briefly about your accolades and what you've done. I know you were recently, a year ago, I saw you were awarded, and I might botch this, so I want you to correct me, Mid-Atlantic Region Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year. Am I in the right ballpark?
Yep, Northeast Regional. So from Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, up to New Hampshire and Maine. We have our country's broken up into regions for our organization, and the Northeast, we've had some great ones get that award too, from a friend of mine, Kevin O'Neill, and Frank Cremonese out in Pittsburgh. And I was honored to be able to get that award.
That's awesome. And you've trained, as you mentioned, you worked with the Somerset Patriots, so you trained professional athletes.
Yep.
You've been in the strength and fitness industry for how long?
I started as a young athletic trainer in 1994, and so well over 20 years. And from working at a private facility to working with the Patriots in the dugout day in, day out. Talk about a grind. And I hate to use the word grind because anytime you grind a gear, it's doing damage to it. So I use the word grease a little bit more because we tend to want to grease the grooves versus grind the gears. So, every day, again, to have these guys available, we had to make sure we did what was right for them, even if it was nothing. Worked in professional soccer with Sky Blue for a year, so worked with a lot of the World Cup and Olympic champions in our country, which was a great opportunity. And of course, the last now 10 years at Central have been fantastic.
And Central's one of the top. I mean, it's a large high school, 3,000 plus students. It's Group 4 at New Jersey. That's the largest. I believe you might know the answer to this, 70 plus state champions in their athletic department. Am I it's close, right?
Sure that number, but it's a big. It should be an honor to put on the Red Devil jersey, and that's with the storied history of our school, and the people that have come out of there to do great things, not only in the athletic realm, but in the theater, arts, and technology industry. Our school is second to none.
Yeah. And you have to take a lot of pride and ownership, care, custody, and of that athletics over you've been there for now 10 years. Mm-hmm. So you have to take a lot of pride in the fact that your athletic programs are just they're top. And almost in every sport. It's not like we dominate this sport and we don't that. It's like Central's good at. People say, what's Central good at? Pretty much everything, and that's a big. I mean, you won't take a lot of credit for it, but I give it to you, and all the kids and their parents will also do the same, and that's why you're a good guy, because you're humble, and you walk the talk the walk, because you're in great shape yourself. You're not one of these big bellied trainers, smoking cigarettes and say, oh, let's go. I mean, you play the role, you look the role. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about, how me and you talked about Pro Argi-9, because you had, I think I gave you like a soft pitch and you were busy and it didn't resonate. Well, that happens. And then you circled back to me and you said, hey, I want I want to look at that product a little more. So tell me your experience with not just Pro-Arginine, but your experience with the L-Arginine and what you had said to me about how you incorporated it for many years in your life.
Yeah, to me, there's so many inflammatory things that are now exposed to us as adults, and from the food we eat to the activity we do, and inflammation causes damage. There's no doubt about it, and the small vessels, in your periphery down into your feet and ankles and into your hands, and even now in your lungs, with some of the stuff that's going on respiratory wise. L-Arginine is available in our system, and the better we breathe, the more that's delivered. Well, if our respiratory system is compromised at any time right now, we could struggle a little bit, and that's something where, unfortunately, I did have COVID, and I'm struggling respiratory wise, and just using the product right now, I can feel a difference. I'm still fatigued. There's still a lot going on, but now as I continue to increase my activity, my level of fatigue is a lot less. That's something I noticed right away, even before COVID, that my recovery was a lot better. And again, circulation is your lifeblood. Of course, your brain is your number one. That controls everything. But then your circulation and the hydration and your blood volume are huge, to make sure you're getting the nutrients to the areas you need, to make sure that the oxygen is being delivered to the areas that need it. And to me, if that's compromised in any way, we're going to have problems. So that's why, I've had Arginine in my plan a long time ago with a friend, and I kind of got away from it. And when you introduced this to me, and I said, oh, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I really saw a big difference in, again, my recovery and some of my energy as well.
Yeah, my first introduction to a nitric oxide supplement was from a guy, a trainer, obviously parallel to what you do. And he had said, hey, before you work out, get yourself a nitric oxide supplement. So that's the only thing I knew. And this was about, I want to say like maybe 6 years ago. And what do we do as, American consumers? We go on Amazon. So I end up buying, there's 8 million of them on Amazon, right? So I end up buying with the first one that pops up. It says best NO product, and I take the product. And I think the dosage called for 2 pills. I end up taking 4 because I'm an idiot. And immediately, Coach, my neck and my cheeks start turning red. I'm like, 2 things. I'm like, I can't do 4. Number 2 was like, wow, it's definitely something's going on. Like it created a reaction. Now, the problem is we don't know where stuff is made. Like 85% of supplement companies, and I'm sure you've seen this, they don't even make their own stuff. You don't know where it's tested. You got the little stamp on there, guaranteed quality proof. So here I am trusting this Amazon product, putting it in my system. And then like a year or so later, it got discontinued, no explanation. So then what do? I go try and buy another one, and I feel nothing. And I bought another one, feel nothing. Then I got discouraged and and then I just stopped. And I'm like, all right, maybe it wasn't a big deal. Then I learned through Dr. Ed Esposito, who's a brilliant practitioner, actually cured himself of cancer, refusing chemo. Guy's a smart guy. He's the one who tells me about Pro-Arch and all the benefits. And I said, wow, nitric oxide. And I go online and I'm like, there is nothing you can find negatively on the subject of nitric oxide. It's like they won a Nobel Prize in medicine in '98. And from my perspective, thinking it was only a pre-workout thing to holy cow, it's a life thing. Like you said, it enhances, it oxygenates the blood. Blood goes everywhere in the body. So, of course, it can affect everything in the body. Now, you knew this. I learned it through my studies through this and flying out to Utah. And then, so the miracle of it all is like, wow, this is a product where, sometimes you find a product and you have to target an audience. You can maybe it's only for women, it's only for men, it's only for children. Here's a product that is for a guy like you, healthy, active. The same product can benefit someone who's got diabetes, who's got blood flow issues, right? They've got high blood pressure, tremendous results with high blood pressure, heart issues. So it really is, in my opinion, in my 54 years today on this planet, it's the most amazing supplement that I've ever seen.
Again, with your circulation, everything else, anything that can help improve that, especially again with the amount of things that we're exposed to, like I said before, and that inflammation with the damage it causes, our body will heal itself. We'll form collaterals. We'll do things in our vessels. But if there's a way that we can help augment that in any way, and diet wise, there are some things that you can do, but this is simple. This is the way that it's become a habit for me now in the morning, and sometimes in the evening, but at least in the morning it became a habit. I'm on my vitamins. I have a glass of water and I just put a little in, and I think it makes a great difference for me.
That's awesome, Coach. I appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll be absolutely following you, and I'll catch you at I'm sure one of the games somewhere.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Coach.